Alright, so we're back from executive session and back on the record at 3:36.
The two situations that we discussed in the executive session, I will read into the record now. One of them was we voted to accept the recommendations of the ALJ in the matter of the New York State Athletic Commission versus Vadando. I will now read into the record. And we also, I'll get to that. I'll read this into the record first. Final decision in order, New York State Athletic Commission versus Matisse Vadando, 261 DOS 16. By the authority vested in Section 8906 of Chapter 1 of Title 25 of the unconsolidated laws and the regulations promulgated thereunder, and after concluding an open meeting of the State Athletic Commission on June 2nd, 2016, it is hereby found and ordered that an evidentiary hearing on the record was held on April 21st, 2016 before the Honorable Roger Schneider, an administrative law judge appointed by SAC to preside over the complaint in the matter of SAC versus Vadando. Pursuant to the complaint, SAC alleged inter alia, thank you, Judge, that respondent Vadando violated the rules and directives of the Commission by failing to perform to the best of his abilities in good faith and by engaging in acts detrimental to the interests of boxing by his conduct in relation to his application or license and performance in a boxing bout held at Madison Square Garden in New York City on October 17, 2015. Respondent failed to appear at the hearing held on April 21, 2016, despite notice of such hearing being properly served. At the conclusion of the aforementioned proceedings, Administrative Law Judge Schneider issued a non-binding recommended decision and order to SAC dated April 21st, 26, which is attached. Reviewing the facts and circumstances of this matter as memorialized in the hearing record, the SAC hereby confirms and adopts the findings of fact, the opinion and conclusion of the law, and the determination is written by ALJ 533 DOS 15 for the reasons stated herein, and incorporates such writings by reference as it sets forth fully in text herein. Unconsolidated laws 8916, 8917, and 19 New York State RR 206-8, 20610, 20611, 20612, 16, and 20719. It is hereby determined that the recommendation of the ALJ is adopted in its entirety. Therefore, the respondent's purse, after the deductions of allowable expenses payable or paid to the respondent, shall be forfeited to the Commission, that an additional fine of $5,000 shall be imposed on the respondent, and that the respondent's license as a professional boxer shall be revoked. The foregoing penalty shall be effective immediately. If there's a motion on the floor to accept the recommendation of the ALJ.
So move. I second it.
Second. Motion is carried and moved. The next issue was a discussion and vote on ringside positions recommended for approval by the MAB and Dr. which I will now read to be hired onto the DOS special payroll. I will now read into the record the names of the doctors. Clifford Amaduri, Edward Amoser, these are all doctors. John Bosiso, Dr. Bennett Brown, Dr. Avery Brown, Dr. Charles Everly, Dr. Angela Galadari, Dr. Stephen Gelman, Dr. Dennis Gort, Dr. Jeffrey Greenhouse, Dr. Alex Guerrero, Dr. Jeffrey Kaplan, Dr. Victor Kabi, Dr. Ostrich King, Dr. Michael Linhan, Dr. Mark Mirabelli, Dr. Donald Muzi, Dr. Ann Nafazinga, Dr. Robert Pulaski, thanks, Dr. Louis Rakowski, Dr. Rosanna Sabini, Dr. Rufus Sadler, Dr. Ninti Seti, Dr. Michael Strauss, Dr. Celine Thum, Dr. Gerard Verlata, Dr. Richard Weinstein, and Dr. Kevin Wright. Need a motion on the floor to accept the doctors.
So moved.
All in favor?
Second it?
Just the other executive session was the discussion and vote on ringside physicians. And these 3 doctors, we will vote to move them forward in their application process. So my executive director, you got the names?
So there's Dr. Thomas O'Brien, pending submission of a copy of his current medical license, Dr. Nicholas Beatty, Dr. Joseph Savasta, and Dr. Anthony Perkins. With your approval, they can move forward with the application process.
So moved. Second.
The other was the third session was with in regards to the hiring of Inspector Christopher Contanza.
Christopher Costanza.
Yes, go ahead, Eric.
So Mr. Costanza was vetted by members of the commission, the day-to-day staff, and Chairman Hoover. He is an inspector applicant from up in the Albany area. We are definitely short-handed inspectors in there, and he seems more than qualified to take on this role. With your approval, he can become an official inspector and begin the training process.
I read his application. I make a motion to accept. Second.
Thank you.
Okay. Now for the open discussion, the Commission Bulletin 2015-2, the boxing glove policy. Our Executive Director, Mr. Bentley, will discuss that.
Okay, so back in August, you gentlemen revised a policy that basically implemented all promoters must use brand new gloves for all boxers moving forward. Since that time, we've had many complaints from the boxing community, promoters, and even boxers who at times prefer gloves that were once used as opposed to brand new. They requested that we revise the policy to meet ABC standards. So what we are proposing now is that all boxers in title fights, main events, televised bouts, and bouts 10 rounds or more be provided with brand new gloves, while undercard boxers are able to wear like new gloves, meaning no stain, no debris, almost as if they haven't been worn, brand new laces, and they have to give the appearance like new. We feel this will be a cost-saving move for the promoters.
Right.
I think it'll make everyone happy in the community, and I ask that you review and pass it on.
The other thing about this is they will get checked by the commission.
Oh, well, yeah, the gloves will continue to be inspected by the commission upon submission to the.
So it meets our standards.
Yes,
So it meets
exactly.
our standards, yeah.
So the chief inspector will receive them at the event like he always does, and he'll go through them all.
So the assessment will be made just prior to the,
Correct. Before putting
Correct.
okay, that's it, that's good.
And we also feel that it's just another way of trying to work with our partners in the community, promoters.
Yeah, save some money.
I need a motion on the floor to
Move,
accept.
so move.
Second it.
Second. Discussion to vote regarding approval of Everlast.
Okay, gentlemen, you'll see in front of you there are two brands of gloves, or one brand of gloves, two different sizes. You have the Everlast MX Elite Pro Fight Gloves. These are basically an enhanced version of the previously approved MX gloves. You can see as we thoroughly examined them, we opened up the sides and we opened up the inside. Per our regulations, there's generally a 0.2 ounce margin of error. You can see the weights in front of you. The 8 ounces came in at 8.2 ounces with the laces. They were exactly 8 ounces without. The 10 ounces were, the right glove was 10 ounces and then the left glove was 9.9 ounces.
10 8.
The wrist padding, our standards are to have it at no more than 1 ounce of padding in the wrist. For the 8 ounces, they were 0.2 ounces, well below the margin of what we allow. And then for the 10 ounce, they were 0.4 ounces. So I propose that you approve these gloves so we can allow them moving forward in New York State.
So approved.
I agree. I second it.
And if you want, here are the
Thank you, Elder.
Approved.
The other item on the agenda is discussion and the vote on the NYS acknowledgement form. We approved it and passed it in the past. This is just an updated version. You should have that in front of you. Thanks. This was approved once before, and we are now updating this. I have to read this into the record, and it says Commission Bulletin 2016
I just said that last night, by vote of the medical advisory board,
yeah.
it was recommended.
Last night by vote of the Medical Advisory Board, the MAB, it was recommended that we go forward with this. Commission Bulletin 2016-1, disclosure of use of drugs, medications, and supplements. The New York State Athletic Commission is vested with the authority to prohibit the use of illicit drugs and performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs, by professional boxers and to gather information regarding a boxer's use of drugs, medications, and/or supplements in order to determine a boxer's medical fitness to compete. Boxers must disclose at a physical examination conducted on the day of the weigh-in any use of drugs, medications, whether prescribed or over-the-counter, and/or supplements. Further, boxer may be tested for the presence of illicit drugs and/or PEDs on the day of a boxing match or at any other time that the boxer holds a commission-issued license. It is the sense of the Commission that in order to properly monitor the use of drugs, medications, and/or supplements by professional boxers, to ensure integrity of athletic competition, and to determine a boxer's continued fitness to compete, boxers should not use any drugs, medications, whether prescription or over-the-counter, and/or supplements between the time of the weigh-in, physical examination, and the conclusion of the boxing match, unless the boxer has provided notice to the Commission and has received prior written approval from the Commission for such use. Unapproved use of any drugs, medication, or supplement that is contraindicated for boxing may result in cancellation of the boxer's bout and/or disciplinary action, such as the imposition of a fine, purse forfeiture, license suspension, license revocation, and modification of the official bout result. I need a motion on the floor.
I make a motion to accept.
Second.
We will now have our acting executive director report from Mr. Bentley.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Since the last open meeting, there have been 14 professional boxing events and 111 professional wrestling events in New York State, spanning from here in New York City all the way to Buffalo and upstate New York. Also, on April 14th, Governor Cuomo signed a bill that will legalize professional MMA in New York, ending a 20-year ban of the sport, and expand the Commission's jurisdiction to extend to those combative sport activities. The legislation is set to become effective on September 1st, 2016. Until that date, the Commission cannot accept or approve any event date requests or license applications for MMA events. As we move forward in the planning and development phase for MMA and associated regulations, we will need to have several more meetings throughout the summer, including one at the end of June, as well as 1 to 2 more after that, with one probably occurring in mid to late August. Please be prepared to attend at least one meeting each month over the rest of the summer. The new law has expanded the Commission from 3 commissioners to 5 members, and that provision is now in effect. Commission meetings require 3 members to be present to have a quorum to do business. A majority vote of the members present is necessary to approve an action. So, for example, if 3 members are present at a meeting, like today, a quorum is achieved and at least 2 yes votes will be needed to approve any measure before the Commission. Because of that, until additional seats are filled, it is essential that all 3 of you must be at each meeting to make a quorum. I'll be working with you and the SAC staff to ensure that Commission meetings are scheduled at times that work for everyone. I ask that you please work with me to ensure that the Commission meets regularly whenever necessary to perform its duties. As a final note, I would like to say that our staff at the Commission has done a tremendous job managing the high volume of events that we've had to regulate recently, as well as participating in the preparation for MMA. I'd like to recognize our full-time staff, Glenn Aline, Anna Rivas, and Matthew DeLaglio. They have put forth a lot of time and effort and have gone well above and beyond what is expected. They spent many extra hours in the office just to make sure things were done correctly. So, with that being said, I look forward to working with you all and see you the next month.
Look forward to working with you on all this.
I would just like to add that the staff, I recommend and echo what Eric has already said. Staff has been working diligently, gentlemen, to make sure that this works. And going forward, they are continuing to join us because it's we're going to have a very full and a busy year.
It would appear.
Yes. So, do I have to, I need a motion to accept the report from the executive director?
So move.
No move? Okay. We now will adjourn the meeting. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good job.
Very good.
End or mute?
Put in.
And